Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about criticism. Criticism is the branch of study where we define, classify, expound, and evaluate works of literature. Now, literature consists of three activities. The first one is to create. A writer will create his work. To appreciate. So, we will all read his work and we will appreciate. And finally comes to criticize. Criticize is analyzing the work according to the standards which are prescribed to criticize a work. Now, to criticize a work, that power of criticism can be acquired. That is, we can study how to criticize a work and then we can criticize it. Now, the world of criticism embraces the theory of literature and then only it studies the individual work of writers. That is, a critic will study the theory of literatures, how he has to analyze a literary work, and then only he will give his criticism. Now, this criticism will be about all the branches of literature like poetry, drama, novel, and even we can give criticism on the criticism written by other writers. That is, the criticism also can be criticized. If a work is evaluated by a writer and if he writes his criticism, another writer can see whether his criticism has value or whether there are any defects or whether there is a different opinion which this second critic has on it. And about criticism, various people have given various ideas. Like Walter Pater says that criticism is the art of interpreting art, and Carlyle also says the same. And Arnold defines criticism as a disinterested endeavor to learn and propagate the best that is known and taught in the world. And Hudson says that the chief function of criticism is to enlighten and stimulate. And Bacon has said that some books may be read by deputy. That is, if someone is going to assist you, help you on how to read this book or how to understand that book, some books need this guidance. Not all the books, but some books definitely need guidance from others for the readers to understand that work. And if creative literature is an interpretation of life, then criticism can be said as an interpretation of that interpretation. And therefore, Emerson says that the aim of a critic is not to instruct the readers. That is, he should not give instruction to the readers about the different aspects of a particular work, but the aim of the critic should be to provoke the readers into the new meaning of the work. That is, the critic must find the different meanings which are there embedded in the work, and that he has to bring light to the light so that the readers will be able to understand that work from that perspective also. And the two main functions of criticism are judgment and interpretation. But every effort at judgment leads to appreciation. As Pater said, to feel the virtue of the poet or the painter, to disengage it, to set it forth, these are the three stages of the critic's duty. That is, he says that when you are actually passing a judgment, it will be like an appreciation. And there are two approaches to criticism. We have the classical approach of criticism and the romantic approach of criticism. Classical criticism was in great place till the 18th century, and we can say that Aristotle poetics is a master among them. And this classical criticism stands for judgment based on absolute standards and established conventions. That is, it is very strict. And it gave lots of emphasis on the judicial function of the criticism, and it advocated the right judgment as a first step towards right appreciation. At the same time, we should know that this classical criticism was actually restricting the critics severely because there were so many rules and standards laid at that time in the ancient time. But romantic criticism, which began with Wordsworth, is subjective. That is, depends on the critics. It lay down the every work of art carries with it its own rules of enjoyment. It says that when a critic is reading the work, how he enjoys it, how much of enjoyment goes into him, and each writer will have his own rules to follow, or how to criticize that book and how to judge that book. And therefore, the critic need not go in search for rules outside the work. He should see only inside the work. And it also began to probe into the viewpoint of the writer, from what viewpoint the writer would have written this work. And as a romantic critic is not concerned with outside standards, he says his own personal feelings while he studied the work of literature, and he can tell what sensations or reactions that particular work evoked in him. And he may comment on the purpose of the writer and how successful the writer was in communicating that purpose to the reader through his work. Coleridge and Shelley are also other significant romantic critics. But anyway, this romantic criticism also came under attack by the modern critics like T.S. Eliot, T.A. Hume, and I.A. Richards, because modern criticism is based upon a sound knowledge of the past, and it respects tradition, which is as exemplified in the writings of T.S. Eliot. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.